Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the long range, what to expect, the temperatures, the precipitation. So that's what today's video is going to be about. I have a couple of things to say before we get into this video. First of all, if you are a weather enthusiast, you like the weather, you enjoy the weather, and you just like forecasting, making your own predictions, consider subscribing to this channel. I do all sorts of weather-related stuff. I am a hobbyist, not a meteorologist, and I find this stuff really enjoyable. So if you find this stuff enjoyable as well, let us interact and consider subscribing. If you are already a returning viewer, then consider liking the videos. That really helps out a lot as well. I also want to say one thing. For some reason, the channel this year has been getting a bit less attention, a little bit less, I guess, interaction. And that may be the case with the fact that last year I got a lot of my forecasts wrong. But this year is going to be a year of, I guess, making up to you guys and, I guess, patching up my reputation, as last year was definitely a blow to it. But if you guys would like to support this channel, since seems like it's going through a rough spot right now, you could join the Patreon in the description. I have it. And if you join the Patreon and only pay as little as $2, you can get access to a Discord where we could talk in a voice channel, like me and you through the microphone, and we could talk about the weather. We're gonna have a chat feature where we could just chat to each other through text on the Discord. So that's very fun, and only requires $2. If you want to do that, consider doing that. I had the Patreon for a very long time. Just decided to bring it up. If not, perfectly fine. Let's get into the video. Sorry about the delay. So let's talk about the GFS model, the Global Forecasting System. If you see this title of this video, you may be wondering, a big storm, a big weather event. So how does this all play out? So here's the breakdown. There really isn't going to be a large storm over the direct United States, the lower 48, but there are going to be several storms riding through southern Canada that are going to bring pretty strong cold fronts down into the United States. Now, these cold fronts, despite what they sound like, aren't really going to bring much cold air. What they are going to do is they're going to bring a packing of severe weather and quite a bit of rain in some areas. Though, again, this pattern that we're entering in for the next several days into maybe 2 weeks is really going to be on a drier side. No major storms, but the storms that I'm talking about in this title that I bring up are ones that are going to be occurring across southern Canada that bring cold fronts well down into the U.S. So if we look at this, we see Tropical Storm Isaiah pulling away, and it kind of turns into a pretty large storm. You can see into Canada, and that pulls away. We get a band of showers right here. That really isn't associated with much. We get our first stronger storm. Really, the European does a better job in my opinion, but you can see that we have across next week, and we have the storm developing across the Dakotas, and this definitely brings down you can see here's a larger storm up right there, and that brings down kind of, you could see these bands, these showers out ahead of it. So if I were to, you know what, I could just make my life easier and your guys' life easier with this video and look at North America. So notice we have a storm right here, and as strong storms go, they usually have a warm front and they have a strong cold front. And as this storm is moving to the east, we have quite a bit of precipitation that kind of spawns out in front of it, if you will. And if we were to play this forward, again, this is pretty far out because the next several days look pretty darn quiet and pretty nice weather across the good portion of the United States. Warmer across the west, the south, but really also cool across the Midwest and east. But notice that we have this storm. It delivers quite a bit of, I guess, severe weather, or a potential for severe weather across the Midwest and into Indiana, Michigan, into next week. Then we see another system kind of evolve right here, and it also drags quite a bit of precipitation into the northeast. And notice we have another storm right here. It also brings a cold front down into the northern United States, while we see maybe a bigger storm across the mid-Atlantic starting to spawn up. And again, the GFS does, I guess, a poor job of showing this, as in my opinion the European does quite a better job. But as we are in the North American continent view, you can see we have some snow, and the 540 line is way up to the north. This is basically as far to the north as it gets during this time of the year, because usually May and June it could still be sometimes hanging around Hudson Bay, James Bay. At this point, it's as north as it gets, and anywhere from now on, basically things start cooling off. August really isn't a big cool off month. A lot of I guess the U.S. still sees the hot weather in August, and some see the hottest weather in August, like places like Arkansas in the south. But we are again, if as soon as we get into September, things start shaking a pretty drastic turn towards winter, which is, I guess, exciting for the winter lovers, because it demonstrates to us that, I guess, the worst of I guess summer is like half behind us, if you will. So notice that we are looking at the European model. I wanted to just show you the temperatures. Right now we are looking at cool temperatures across the Midwest and Great Lakes. And today, I'm telling you, I went out and I was tying up my tomato plants here in Chicago, where I live. And by the way, people have been asking about the garden updates. I will be doing garden videos on my gardening channel. I just have quite a big some videos planned for the gardening channel, and they're in the making, but they take a whole season to make, so I'll definitely be uploading there. Don't worry. And the garden this year is just absolutely thriving. But I was tying up my tomato plants, and it was just it was downright chilly. I felt a little bit chilly with the short sleeves and short pants. It was really quite almost unpleasant at times when the wind blew. It was, granted, it was 7:38 o'clock in the evening. It was already dusk, but and the clouds were the skies were clouded over, and it just felt chilly, which for early August is quite rare here in Chicago. But it's definitely nice, but it's gonna be short-lived. Notice that as we push into next weekend, we just get warmth, and it really seems to be much of the United States that sees the warmth. The only areas where it could be a bit cooler are a few patches. Again, can't say that word. I can't. Oh, it's combined, spots and patches. So there's a few spots and patches across the Midwest, but really the Northwest, maybe the Pacific Northwest, may be the coolest. Let's look at the precipitation type and rate. Again, in my opinion, the European does a better job of this. Notice a lot of rain going into the northeast with Tropical Storm Isaias. We have 991 millibars of pressure. We have it moving into the northeast, 989. Actually intensifies at some point, so lots of rain. It seems flooding potential seems high. Also, some severe weather right now is going across the Carolinas and into Virginia. So as I'm recording this video, as this is being recorded very, very early in the wee morning hours of Tuesday, August 4th, and I was looking at the radar, and there's quite a bit of tornado warnings up for North Carolina as of a couple of minutes ago. But notice that as that passes through, and the cooler air moves out, which kind of is like, I guess, that big blockade, if you will, for that for the storms to not penetrate. But as soon as that moves out, we see this storm right here, 995. Notice it has a cold front right here that develops, and it really shows itself during the afternoon hours. And we have a pretty strong line of storms that come through the Dakotas into Minnesota. And as we push this further in, you can see that this storm is now way up here, but kind of still disturbs the atmosphere and leaves quite a bit of, I guess, unsettled weather. But then in the next I guess active period, Sunday to Monday, we see another storm. That same storm really just hasn't moved much, kind of went to the north and then did a little like loop. You can see also delivers quite a bit of possibly severe weather. Now, this time further down to the south, and if you were to draw this out, the low pressure is up here, and we have this cold front kind of trailing way down here. So this is what I mean by the title that strong cold fronts are possible with these storms, as we have, this could definitely, this cold front part of this storm is definitely probably the strongest or dangerous part. And then as that passes through, you can see it kind of still continues across the northeast, and really provides more showers and thunderstorms, unsettled weather. And the storm is at this point by Quebec, and it's still providing showers even though it's thousands of miles to the north. Then we start seeing a bit of a different pattern. We start seeing some more, not as big of a large storms, but just maybe a storm that is trying to develop in the front range of the Rockies, and it really does I guess, kind of spit up just some of these random clusters of storms, which we'll have to monitor as well. Let's look at the precipitation amounts, and I want to quickly show you. They're really not going to be awfully impressive, obviously, than the anywhere else other than the Northeast, because that's where Tropical Storm Isaias, or hurricane, it actually got upgraded to a hurricane in the last minutes of its before landfall, and you can see that it's going to drop a lot of rain where it hits. Otherwise, though, not awfully too wet. A bit of precipitation across the Midwest and into Iowa, Minnesota. Generally drier, though. The South mainly staying dry. and the west also staying just bone dry. And you can see that British Columbia and right there are going to be the ones that are in Alberta, Canada, are going to be the areas with lots of rain. I would like to look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, which extends from August 11th through the 17th. You could see that there the Climate Prediction Center is showing the only area below average is the west, possibly, especially the northwest, which again I pointed out with the GFS model, and anywhere else above average temperatures. And I think that's fair to say. I think it's going to be generally just dry or warmer across much of the United States, excluding the Northwest. And for the precipitation, I guess this is fair. They have a bit above across the Southeast and a bit across the West. But I think what they're trying to show here is just like the trend for a drier pattern. It really doesn't look like as wet as it has been across the spring and winter months. It looks like we may be getting to a drier period, but definitely still possibly above for the south, which is good. I looked at the Drought Monitor today, and there's actually an unsettling amount of areas that are abnormally dry or into moderate drought. It's kind of like all over, and you can see that the 6 to 10 day outlook is much of the same. Basically, a kind of like a copy and paste of the 8 to 14 day. They're showing above average for the Great Lakes, which hopefully holds true, as there's still quite a bit of locations that are drier there. But really, this is kind of the more concerning areas. The drought is really bad across Colorado, Utah, Nevada, out in New Mexico, and that's where the below average conditions will continue. So it would be really nice if you could see these two things flip, but unfortunately that's not the way weather works. Can't control it. Notice that we are looking at, if you were to look at the GFS, I wanted to show you the GFS precipitation amounts. This goes out to 384 hours, so there will be just naturally more precipitation shown. But again, really nothing too impressive other than the tropical storm Isaias footprint left behind. And where else, maybe an inch or two, which is pretty below average going through August 20th. And it looks as if August will be a drier, warmer month, it seems. And that's what usually happens during like a La Nina, typical La Nina fall. And for those looking at this August being like, oh, it's just going to be warm and miserable, or, warm and most of the fall is going to be warm and the winter is going to be warm, there's been some pretty strong correlations that with this La Nina warm fall, there could be a La Nina cold winter. So definitely, I wouldn't get my hopes down across winter. For fall, I would say that, especially early fall, I don't think there's going to be much of an early fall this year. It's going to be mainly summer, and brief transition, and then probably winter. That's what it seems like this year. But thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See y'all.